Hi, everybody. It's
Hi.
Mary from Metaphysical Meltdown. Boy, do we have a treat for you today. Kelly Martin, Pet Psychic, is on here with me today. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. She's going to take your questions. So if you can ask some questions, I will be watching this on my Facebook page and wherever else I ought to be watching this on. So go ahead and ask those questions about your pets, either living or deceased. You can also ask us some other questions like, state of the Federal Reserve, whatever you want to ask. I'm just kidding. Try to limit to the pet thing, would you? And really happy to see you today. So we're going to just shoot right over to Kelly, and you're going to see both of us today. Isn't that nice? So I'll be sure not to be doing something crazy. So Kelly, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Mary. Hi, everyone. It's great seeing everybody. I'm Kelly. I'm the pet psychic. I can talk to your animals. I can hear what they're saying and kind of give you some insight to them. They can be alive or they can be crossed over. Most of the time, if they are crossed over, they're usually not too far behind, and they're here to help us and help us on our crazy human life. I'm also here to help people find the perfect pets for them, tap into spirit, and help you, because one thing I've noticed, a lot of people go out and get a pet without much research or thought into it, and I want to try to help people not lose their pets or pets being abandoned. I'm also a professional dog groomer, so I see a lot of people that don't really think about what they get. I also used to ride horses a lot. I used to work at a horse farm for 15 some years. I cleaned stalls, taught lessons, and the same thing. I saw a lot of people get horses when they really shouldn't have gotten certain animals. And I want to kind of bridge that gap and grow up a bit.
Cool. That's awesome. Could you tell people, though, really what you do now? Because you do a few things. And I remember meeting you a few years ago. I can't quite remember when, but I remember thinking this young person is really amazing. And I think a lot of you. I really do. I think that you've got really great skills. Right. And so could you just tell them about what you do during the day and how you talk to the pets that you work on, and then the panel, all kinds of cool stuff. Just tell us about you.
Yeah, sure. Well, just to put out there, I'm also not just a pet psychic. I can talk to other things too. I can talk to elementals and angels and fairies. I'm very connected with elementals. I can hear trees, but my mission here is to help the animals and really connect. I've loved animals my entire life. Ever since I was a little kid, I was a kid that watched Animal Planet and Discovery Channel and did all that animal stuff. Animals were always drawn to me, and I didn't know why. It's something I realized I always had a special gift with animals. Animals just really liked me. And Mary, you kind of helped me kind of realize what it was. I grew up in a Muggle household that this stuff doesn't exist. And so coming out here after I moved out here about 5 years ago, after my mom passed away and I lost my dad, and I came out here and I really realized what it is I can actually do. And I can hear them. I talk to animals telepathically. I also hear images. And that's something I've done my entire life. When I hear the animals, especially right now, I'm a professional dog groomer. I work at a veterinary hospital, and I help dogs learn that grooming's not so scary. I've had a lot of dogs that have had bad experiences with groomers or rescues, and they get really scared. And I show them that they can feel good and happy. And I also do Reiki on them too. When I scrub them and it's shampoos and stuff, I make them feel relaxed. And sometimes they forget, like, oh, this is really relaxed. And they start kind of licking. I feel them relax. And they're like, wait, I'm at the groomer. I can't be. It kind of blows their mind. They're not used to being so calm and quiet. And that's one thing I do with a lot. For the psychic portion, actually, a lot of my coworkers don't know I'm a pet psychic. They're a bunch of muggles, and they're not ready to really open up. And a few of them actually do know, but they're still not as open to all this stuff. But for the psychic part, I go to Lou J's Psychic Showcase every Tuesdays at IHOP. That's where I do my other psychic stuff too. I also work the Blue Moon Fairs. There's one in Everett and Edmonds. It's run by Grace Starr. She does some great fairs. A lot of great readers go there. And they also do the MeWe fairs that Lorelei puts on in Bellevue and Portland and stuff too. But right now, of course, those aren't going on. So I think I'll probably be starting doing some online stuff like with that now too. And I also just got a new laptop, so I'm hoping to do some live Facebook stuff and help answer questions and so forth. And not just psychic stuff. As a groomer, I like to give advice on how to make your pets feel better for grooming and giving tips, because sometimes they don't like to be brushed, and how to help you kind of maintain their coats and their stuff too. So
that is great. I know that Lorelai's been doing a lot of those online psychic fair things, which I think is really great. That's such a great idea to bring people together. And I know that Facebook is getting ready to do something where many people can come in a group. I know they've got the portal, but they're also working on something else. So it's really needed right now since everybody's at home. I mean, time to watch people on Facebook and time to watch people on YouTube. I mean, I know I've been watching tons of hours worth of my most favorite podcast people. So one of the reasons that I asked you to be on today is I know that pets pick up their owners and their people that they live with. I know they pick up people's emotions, and they're having troubles right now. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, actually that's one thing I was going to talk about today too, because I've noticed, as especially a groomer and with my own animals, us as humans, we're under immense amount of stress. I mean, it's part of it is great. We get to stay home and hang out with our animals. Well, I still get to go to work because I work at a vet clinic. I'm able to stay open and go because I'm considered an essential business. But I've noticed a lot of dogs are very stressed. A lot of animals are coming in with stuff. One of their jobs is to help us in this lifetime and help ease the stress. And they're absorbing all of our stress. And so they're feeling overwhelmed. I've noticed that my dog has been really tired these last couple of weeks just because I come home. I'm also extremely empathic and I can feel everybody's emotions. So before you go out the grocery store, there might be one or two people who would be kind of annoyed or stressed. Now you go there, it's almost like a war zone. People have masks. They tell you which way to go. It's really stressful. I mean, and people look at you as if, you know, you're going to hurt them because they're just so stressed and overwhelmed. So you come home, your animals feel it. And I think that a lot of animals are having that result. So my best advice is to continue just give them love, extra walks. Dogs, I take my dog for a walk in the woods almost every day. And she loves it. She gets out there and just explores the grass and sniffs everything. And it's a great way for de-stress. And it's good for us too, as people, to kind of put our energy back into the earth and just be away from that. And I don't even I just put my phone away on silent, so I can't talk to anybody when I'm out there, just so I can just get rid of all that stress. And that's what I do with my animals too. So
they are really tired right now. I keep joking with my dog that he's sleeping for the collective right now, napping for the collective. And by the way, our dog, Chief Beckman, really likes Kelly a lot. I wasn't sure if Chief Beckman actually loved me for about 4 years. Now I know he loves me. He's just very reserved. He's really a low-key guy. What he really likes is the fact that I'm intuitively eating meat every once in a while now. And since the kitchen every once in a while smells like chicken, he likes me a lot better.
Yeah. Well, you also have a pug. Pugs in general are pretty easygoing dogs. I have a couple of them that come in and they're either really hyperactive, crazy, or they're just usually mellow, just easygoing guys. And that's kind of what your guy is. And also just like with us, they have their missions and tasks. And as I've only been doing reading psychic fairs probably for little less than a year. And I've really opened up to my gifts and really learned about animals and their purposes. And animals they're here to teach us. They're here to help us grow as spiritual people. So I think when they sleep too, they're also getting what we call downloads or upgrades. And they're kind of getting more information because you all feel it. There's something big coming and there's a lot of changes, and they're here to help us in that process. My dog has taught me so much of how she can do all sorts of things. She's taught me this past year how she can astral travel and she can do all these amazing things. And so when they have those active dreams, they're also getting that information, loads of information. My cat too. My cat's 13 and he's also very involved with things. His job around this house is kind of clear the energies and make sure nothing that's not wanted comes in. That's sometimes why your cat at 3 a.m. will go zooming around the house or yelling and screaming. It's not just to be annoying or just to talk. He's actually clearing that energy. And cats especially are very, very sensitive to energy. They're very sensitive to emotions. All animals are, but cats especially are very, 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 very sensitive. And if I get upset or angry, my cat feels it and he'll start chewing on things or almost lashing out because he's just is so overwhelmed.
We had something happen just like that. My husband is very empathic, and he was feeling low. He was really feeling the energies. Yeah. And then eventually I started feeling the energies, and then we noticed Chief just did not feel good. Yeah. And so we put him on Hands of Light, which is our Facebook group, Hands of Light. And I put him up on the wall and I said, please send energy to Chief Beckman. He's not feeling very good. Like 80 some people vibed in on Chief Beckman, and he's been so happy lately. He just got that big old dose of love, and he is just doing great. I think he just went, oh, what's the matter with Dad? Oh, what about Dad? What about Dad? Oh, what about Mom? Oh, and then he couldn't get back up. It was, so you have 3 questions. And before I tell you some of the questions, I just want to say some shout outs to people. So Kathleen is here, and Lizzie's here. Jessie is here. Let's see who else. Janice and Galadriel. Valerie. Hold on a minute. I keep turning my phone off, and nothing really works there. I still get stuff. And we've got a whole bunch of people. There's my sister Stephanie. There, Jeannie is on. Alberto, our friend from the showcase. I'm skipping around here a little bit. There is my dear Kathleen, who had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Kathleen!
Happy birthday!
Yep. So my friend Kathleen, a different Kathleen, wants to talk about her dog Willie. 40 years ago, she had Willie, a female, and she thinks about her. Can you see Kathleen and Willie?
Okay. First of all, Willie says Willie never went away. And does she have another pet that's around, that's living?
That I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like one thing I've learned, I feel like she hasn't really gone very far. She might have either been reborn into this lifetime, or is about to. One thing I've learned a lot this past year through other readings is just like we have multiple lifetimes, our animals have multiple lifetimes. Willie's also telling me he's your I keep saying he because the name, but I feel like she's a familiar to you. A familiar is a specific animal, spirit, and guide. They're specifically here to help us and tasks. You can have one, you can have many. I know I have 2 physical familiars, and I know I have a bunch of other ones I can't see and around. I have a whole menagerie of animals around me all the time. But one thing I've learned is our familiars, they follow us through our lifetime. My dog and my cat were both here with me this lifetime. I used to have pet rats, and actually both of them were 2 different sets of rats, and they came back to help me, and they're my familiars. They said they're helping me and teach me. And I feel like that's what Willie is. He or she is your familiar. So if you have another animal that seems very similar, or there's something that connection, there's a chance that that's actually Willie.
So she did get back to me. She says, no puppy now, no puppy or pet now. So that just means Willie's still around as familiar. So that's awesome. So the other question I have is Sam the Bengal kitty is 15 years young, has digestive issues and allergies, meaning nasal discharge. Mom wants to know is anything that they're giving him, they give him some supplements and stuff, is anything that they're giving him actually bothering him, or is it working?
He's not telling me anything, but you might want to check with your vet and do type an allergy test or something. I'm also hearing it might be a seasonal allergy type of things. So maybe check that. The supplements, I don't know. The only thing I'm hearing is maybe try to give him some Cosequin. It's a joint supplement. It really helps with the aches and pains. I give it to my dog and my cat, and it really, really helps. So as far as the supplements, I would just check with your vet just to see what they have to say.
Okay, so the second part of the question is, are you picking up that he's in pain? Sam the Bengal.
Yeah. He's a little achy, but he's not saying he's in a lot of pain. But that also the one thing to put out with cats also have their thing called pride. I think that's what they say. The cats rocking a pride.
Uh-huh.
So cats don't like to say I'm injured or hurt. So he could be in pain, just not telling me.
Okay.
But say my cat sometimes like, you're limping, you're sore. He's like, no, I'm fine. And so that might also be so. But I'm not picking up he is on any pain, just a little achiness. But like I said, he still could be. So I just would check with your vet.
Okay. I also have seen them say that it's bred, from many years ago with the big cats, that they don't want to show that.
Yeah.
They don't want to show they're in pain. So she'll have to ask. She's really good about picking up on him. So she'll ask.
Yeah.
Thank you so much on behalf of Kitty Mom. Can you clue in with reptiles? Can you speak to reptiles?
I actually can. I have a friend that has reptiles. I sometimes can tap into those little guys.
One of the things I love at Crescent Moon, I am the reader of the day on Thursdays at Crescent Moon, and you sit in these little psychic boxes, you got the door closed, and what do you call those kind of reptiles? The ones that they stand up. What do you call those reptiles?
I don't know.
Something lizard. Anyway, Mo, who works there, sometimes brings in some lizards, and they will just go screaming right in front of right in front of the door. It's just really funny, as people will bring in their pets. There's a kitty that comes to visit. There's lots of dogs that come in, and it's really awesome.
I would love to bring my dog, but she's a Labrador Retriever, and her tail would knock over half the store. And I don't have the income to pay for all the stuff she would probably break, because she's 70 pounds and she thinks she's the size of a cat. She forgets how big she is, and so she'll knock things over and be like, did I do that? Was that me? And she just gets confused. So no, and she gets overly excited. She gets incredibly excited. And so, she'd break most of the stuff in that store.
I know they have a conscience. I've only ever touched those reptiles right there. I've never touched anybody else. And I know that the big guys like gators and crocodiles and all that definitely will talk to a person, but I'm pretty scared of stuff that might move quickly. So I get scared, but
I'm not a fan of snakes. I have no issues against snakes. I'm okay in a controlled environment, but if I see them out in the wild, I know they're more scared of me and they're important for our ecosystem, but I'm the same way about snakes. But I know they're really a lot of reptiles are extremely misunderstood, and they all have a purpose. They're extremely important for our ecosystem. When I used to work at the horse farm, sometimes we'd come across snakes, and we never killed them. We never got rid of them because they helped control the mice population. We had also barn cats too, but the snakes did actually help that, and it's actually a more humane and natural way to regulate the mice and the rats and stuff, because we don't want them to get into the grain and cause all sorts of other stuff and diseases and stuff that might cause into the other animals and horses and stuff.
Right. So, everybody's got a purpose on Earth.
Yep.
Okay. And then so Cheryl had two pups, Nanny and Dakota, and Cheryl is Sheryl. Cheryl's a friend of mine.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what was the question?
Nanny and Dakota, are they around her?
Always.
It does feel like, yes, those dogs were so loved.
I feel like they're always kind of like, there's one like by her feet, like at night when she's sleeping, she feels like there's somebody laying with her, like at the foot of her bed, or she'll feel like someone's jumping in her bed, but she doesn't see anybody.
Okay.
And I feel like there's another animal there is physically alive that senses, like they know that they're around. Like they won't go certain places. They'll kind of like look at it like they're looking at something that's not there.
Okay. Okay, that'd be interesting to know, because she does have pups. Still has pups. Okay, and I'm trying to be watchful that I'm not missing anybody. Okay, so Lizzie had two dogs pass away she'd love to communicate with, Sandy and Kiba. Lizzie and Sandy and Kiba are the pups.
All right, trying to see. Wow. So Kiba's coming through, and I don't know what he's saying, but whatever it is, this is to stop blaming yourself. Just whatever happened, it was his time. That's just one thing he really wanted to emphasize, and kind of go with a lot of animals when they start to cross over and it's their time. It's never our fault. It's just when it's time for them to go, they go. So
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Jeannie, our friend Jeannie from the showcase, her kitty Lucy, Luci.
Mm-hmm. She just says she's okay. She just wants more chicken and tuna. That's the only thing that's really coming across.
Okay.
Nothing really major.
So she doesn't say if this is an odd question because it comes from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they ever talk about food and stuff if they're deceased?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's pretty interesting. Okay, so
Yeah, and sometimes I don't understand what comes through, but that's just what they say. And sometimes I think with cats, I'm starting to learn sometimes if they cross over, they don't always know the difference. Because I actually did a reading for a lady who she's put a picture down. I showed the picture and it said like he looks better than he looks better than you think. And she told me, oh, he passed away a week ago. That's what he said to me. So I think they just have a different perspective than we do on death and crossing over. So I mean, and also they do kind of tend to astral travel and ask for food. My lab, if you ever talk to Kelly Keller, my lab loves going to her and tell her that I don't give her food and chicken. She always asks for chicken and food for her. I mean, even in her dream, she'll go say, hey, more chicken.
Exactly the same way with Chief Beckman. So when Kelly Kelleher comes over, he's on to her about mom and
yeah.
They just know that, Kelly is going to tell us this. Okay.
Yeah, and Kelly has a big heart too. and like
she does.
And they know that she's kind of she'll know I say that she's a bit of a sucker.
Yeah.
And she'll give them whatever they want. So that's why she does it. That's why they do it.
Because she said that Chief is very hungry and he wants the chicken. Yeah. Okay. So my sister Stephanie says that her dog Teddy passed just in November and she keeps hearing him jump off the bed in the morning to wake her up. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Okay. So
he thought that was his job. That was his job in the morning. That's why he did it. That's why he's still
awesome. Okay, and then so I don't forget, my friend Debbie said her eye is still not good. She had she is a nurse and she was inside an enclosed quarters with propane and she had a problem in the eye. So if anybody out there who is an awesome healer, and then if you and me can help Deb, this is not the Deb we know, this is my other friend Debbie from Oregon. So Deb needs help, please, on the eye, and it escapes me the name of the process. Debbie, can you say the name of the process again in the eye? Okay, so there's cousin Heather and Sway. And Stephanie is reminding us those are called bearded dragons. That's exactly
bearded dragons. Yeah.
Yep. I can never think. So I don't know how to say your name. Is your name Jay? I think it's Jay. Wants to know. Let's see. After a service dog crossed, maybe one pet crossed a service dog, Harley the collie has been on a food strike. So it looks like she had two dogs. One was a service dog that passed, and Harley the collie has not been eating. Do you have anything you can say about that?
It might have to do with grief. Just like us, they grieve. And maybe try giving him something special, put maybe a little fish oil or something to make it more enticing. But I think he's just grieving, and just comfort him, give him love, let him know that things are going to be okay. And especially when they're so used to having their buddies around, I think they do definitely grieve like we do. When I used to work at a horse farm, sometimes the horses would pass, and we had this one horse that had a really bad colic, and they ended up having to put him to sleep, and he was in the arena, and a lot of the horses would not go past it for a while because they did not want to see that. So I think it's grief, and okay. just give him some time, give him some space.
So I'm also reading, I hope your name, it's J-A-A, I think it's J. I don't want to mess anybody's name up. People mess mine up all the time. So I just want to say, your baby is also picking up on you, because I'm reading your energy. It's backwards. So what worked for the pug the other day was when my husband would sit down, hold the pug and say, Daddy's doing a lot better. And so what Daddy had to do was make a concerted effort to get his energy up, his frequency up. Because sometimes what I tell people is, you've got the biggest reason to really try to feel better, which is right there in the house for you, because our pets pick up on us, and everybody picks up on us. It's back and forth, ping pong all the time. So obviously it takes a while, because we all grieve in stages. It takes as long as it takes to grieve a pet. I mean, gosh, it surely does. But just explain to the pet that's in the house with you, mom's okay, mom's got you, and we're going to get through this just fine, and we're going to take care of each other, that kind of thing. And then that might boost a little bit.
You also might want to take him out for like a walk, or do something special with just him, and just to let him know that, it's to be good bonding time for the two of you, and just so it'll help you both. Like I said, walk in the woods or someplace. I mean, I think would really, really help.
Awesome. Okay, so let's see. Fran has a Great Pyrenees named Simba, transitioned at 15 years, a year ago, November. Does he have a message for any of us? So Simba, the Great Pyrenees.
He said he was a very proud dog, very, very proud. And I just keep hearing, I'll be back at some point in time. He, in physical form, or he also says he wants to be smaller next time.
I'll be back.
Yeah, that's what came to my head. Like I said, most of our pets end up coming back in our lifetimes in some form. So he kept saying, I'll be back, but he wants to be smaller.
And that dog has a really great presence, because I even see that dog.
Yeah, Great Pyrenees are really neat dogs. They're sheep dogs. They're guardians. They guard the flock. That's what is one of their tasks as for that specific breed. And they are very proud and very sturdy dogs. I mean, they're gentle giants. I've seen a couple of them come through the grooming salon when I worked there. No, I like Great Pyrenees.
Yeah, they are so beautiful. He shows me sitting almost as if the bottom of him is not on the floor, because I see the bottom going like this with the tail. Yeah, it's very interesting. I pick up on pets much less than Kelly does, although I'm getting a little better. But I even see that dog. So
well, I'll say awesome. One thing I've noticed too, most of us can do what I can do. Most of us can communicate, and no matter what, you guys all know your animals better than I do. I might be able to hear them, but if something's wrong, and I'm not always right. Sometimes I'm not perfect. Like every psychic will tell you that I don't always get it right. And deep down, if you feel like there's something wrong or off, listen to that. And they are telling you. All animals speak to you telepathically. That's how you know what your animal likes and feels. Sometimes you don't need me to tell you what they're feeling, because deep down, I'm sure a lot of things I'm telling you deep down, you guys already know of what your pets are saying and feeling.
That is true, that the owner seems to know. Sometimes I know we get scared when our pets get sick and we want somebody else to take a look, so I know that sometimes pets, or we can, depending on what type of a psychic, we're all psychic, right? But we feel it, hear it, see it, sense it in some way. Sometimes I can just sense where the problem is in the pet by my body. So my leg will start hurting, or my arm will, depending on, or inside me where the pet hurts. Yeah. So, and sometimes we only see one or two of the things, especially if a pet has a many layered issue. Right. So if you feel like your pet's not feeling well, really great to get a professional opinion, because we're not vets. We don't play one on the radio.
Yeah, I work at a vet clinic, and also I'm a professional groomer. And one thing veterinarians will say is they don't like people to diagnose if they don't have any medical training. Do not diagnose. That's why I will never say a dog has this or that. Even as a groomer, if a dog comes in with an ear infection, I'm not allowed to say your dog has an ear infection, because I'm not a vet. And so, not just because I don't want to misdiagnose, and also liability is also a big factor. Working around horses at a horse farm and teaching lessons, I learned a lot about liability and issues, and no, always contact your vets, and veterinarians are great. They love animals. The vet clinic I work at, they absolutely love animals. I mean, they'll do anything for their animals. I mean, the vets I work with are fantastic, and yeah, they're just out looking the very best interest of your pets. I mean, they survive veterinary school. They don't have to learn just one species. They learn multiple species, dogs, cats, everything. So I mean, it's not an easy task to get through vet school.
Right. That's some vigorous training. So our Lola says hello.
Hi, Lola.
And there's Tanya and Julie. So Cheryl says, yes, Dakota always slept by her feet.
Yeah.
Raina, who is the living dog, often stares at the area where the altar is set up for Dakota. So you hit it right on. She wags her tail like she's happy to see Dakota.
Yeah.
I think these are chihuahuas.
Chihuahuas are interesting little dogs. They're when I used to work at PetSmart in Bellevue, and we'd always joke around that if Chihuahuas and Dachshunds were bigger, we'd all be in trouble, because they're people think of as these little pint-sized dogs that aren't vicious, but I don't know. I'm more intimidated by a little Chihuahua than a big Great Dane sometimes, because a lot of these dogs are bred. I think Chihuahuas are bred actually to be guard dogs. You don't think it because they're itty bitty,
right?
But there's a purpose. And then Dachshunds were bred to go into burrows. They go after badgers and all sorts of rodents. That's why they're short and stocky and stuff. There's a great documentary I saw on National Geographic about the different shapes of dogs and everything too. And like I said, one of my biggest things is I want people to really, when they're going out and getting a dog, and I'd be happy to help anybody with this, is really think about what breed you want, because every breed has a purpose. And if you can somehow readapt that purpose those dogs were bred for, like labs, taking swimming. If you have a husky, there are actually sleds you can get for huskies that are on land and that have like bicycle wheels and so forth. I have friends that do stuff like that. So you can still kind of do those things that they're bred to do. And they love doing it. They love being busy and staying active. Most dogs don't want to sit on your couch all day and watch TV and stuff. They want to be active and doing things that stimulate them.
So that begs the question, what is Chief Beckman's purpose?
He's here to help Tom.
I think
he's here to help Tom and help to kind of he says he's here to help Tom ground and just to I mean, he is here to be a companion. And I feel like Chief does more job on the astral side of things, and he also really helps kind of regulate the energy of the house and make sure, because I know you have a lot of other beings coming in and out, and I think he helps. Especially one thing I know about with animals is they help a lot keep away those negative spirits. My dog, sometimes I'll be sitting and my dog will bark at something that's like, I don't see it's there, but there's definitely something there. Right. And she lets me know, like, hey, even if they're good or bad, she'll let me know, like, hey, there's someone there, you need to, and stuff. And most of the time it's okay, you're fine. And she's like, oh, okay. And she'll go back to being more relaxed. If my cat reacts, I get more concerned. But my cat, if he doesn't have much reaction, I don't worry about it too much. So cats are really good judge of characters when it comes to those kind of things.
Is there a cat out there for me? I've never not had one, and I have not had one for 5 years.
I think there is one, and I think they're kind of waiting for the right moment to come in. I'm also hearing check shelters, I'm hearing check those pet stores that carry shelter animals, like PetSmart and Petco. A lot of those, there's somebody there. Just keep looking for those, or try Perfect Pals is a cat rescue. They do fantastic adoptions and stuff. It's only cats only rescue, and
so what
they're awesome.
Is Tom says cats pee in guitar cases, so I can't have one. And then he says, maybe you can have one if it comes with a Chihuahua. And Chief says he's not interested in having a brother or a sister. So I'm kind of stuck, Yeah.
Well, what you could do is this is kind of how I got both my dog and my cat, is you can kind of put it out into the universe of what you want, kind of the whole law of attraction sort of thing. How I kind of got my cat, I've had my cat for about 12 years now. And about a month before I got him is around Easter Ostara time. And I was coloring eggs with some friends, and we like to write wishes and stuff. And I wrote one little egg, made it look like a cat. I wrote down everything I wanted with a cat, the behavior, antics. And I was like, my wish, a month later, I went to the shelter, and I pretty much got that cat. I wanted somebody who was friendly and social and sweet and cuddly, and I got him. I mean, the only thing I asked for was like a tortie type color, but he's more of a striped Bengal cat. He almost has the tortie colors, but just not that pattern. And he's 12 years later, he's the best cat I could have asked for, and he's exactly what I wanted. And Lucy, my dog, is the same thing. She's the dog I always wanted as a kid. So you just put it out in the universe of what you want. You can even write a love letter. Just start thinking, this is what I want. I eventually, someday I'd like to have a horse of my own, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm just putting out there what it is I'm looking for a horse, and when it's time, they'll come to you.
Okay, I'll make sure I say cat so that I don't get a horse.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
So Marty says hello.
Hi, Marty.
And Tanya says, how is my buddy? Does he have a message for me? So Tanya B, my buddy. I don't know who Buddy is.
He's just saying he loved you. He loves you.
Okay. So Debbie tells us it's conjunctivitis. That's the word I couldn't remember. So when you clue in on Debbie later, conjunctivitis. Right. I'm writing the note to myself. Okay. So Steph says she has a chinchilla that went missing when the ex was taking care of the chinchilla. She showed up in my dream recently, but I forgot she wasn't alive anymore and didn't think to attend to her. Any idea of where the chinchilla went? Wasn't sure if she got out of the house, if somebody let her out, or if she got stuck in the wall or something. Her name was Roo, R-O-O.
I'm hearing she got out of the house. She escaped.
Okay. Is she deceased?
I'm hearing no, but I'm also hearing could be. There's not going to be an actual answer.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Elizabeth has a question for you. You'll have to look at that after. Okay. All right. And there's Mo saying hi. There's Kathleen. Okay. So Sherry says her daughter loves animals but suffers pet allergies. She's found out that an enzyme in the saliva is what she's allergic to.
Yeah.
And we know that some dogs and cats have more or less of this enzyme. Do you see a particular dog breed that she should be on the lookout for in the future? This is Sherry and Sherry's daughter.
That's actually a great question. Even I get this as a groomer. First and foremost, it's great about it's true about the saliva, and you'll hear a lot of the words hypoallergenic and pests. There's no such thing as hyperallergenic. A lot of people are getting these doodles and labradoodles. As far as breeds go, you probably want to try to find one that sheds less. And you could also do if you're worried about their saliva, is get like little wipes. You can find little like puppy wipes or baby wipes specifically for pets, and just wipe them down. That'll help prevent a lot of the allergens. But you want to get a dog probably that doesn't shed as much, like a poodle. Or and if you go, and also when it's time to get your pets, whether you want to do a rescue or a breeder, there's no shame in if you feel like a breeder is the best for you. There's no shame in that, because I mean rescuing is a wonderful thing, but it's not for everybody, because sometimes you do have to get animals that may not be a good fit for your home. So there's, like I said, there's no shame in breeders, but when it is time, make sure you really do your research and find the right breeder, especially if you end up going with like a Labradoodle or Golden Doodle. There's a lot of shady breeders out there who will just try to sell you something because it's trendy. I'm just hearing this right now. A Portuguese water dog might be a good fit. They're like a poodle-like breed that they don't shed as much, and that might be a good option for you. But as I said, as far as the doodles, I said there's no, and I have no bad karma or bad can't think of the right word, thoughts of any particular dog breed. It's just things I've experienced as a groomer, and I've seen, and I also go to dog grooming seminars once a year to learn about different dog breeds and what they are. And a lot of them are saying just be careful what you get for. And it's also even the word rescue. Sometimes there's a lot of rescues out there that aren't really rescues. They're actually puppy mills in disguise.
Oh.
They say, oh yeah, this is a rescue, but it really isn't. So that's another thing. Really pay attention to where you're getting your pets from, because you don't want to get it from somebody who's just kind of conning you, because a rescue is also a trendy thing. And unfortunately, trends in animals aren't always a good thing, because then everybody wants to go get one, and there's not much regulation, and there's not much control of what people can sell. And there's not very much regulations on breeding and dog breeding and so forth. Anybody can breed and sell a puppy. So just as I said, just like I said, the biggest thing is research before you go get a pet. So that's I like I said, I could talk all day and be on my soapbox about doing your research, because I've had so many people who go out and get like a Samoyed and not know how big they can get, or they get or they get a 2,000-pound draft horse and not realize that draft horses aren't these slow, clunking, easygoing horses. They were actually bred for war and jousting. I actually used to work at the jousting troop when I lived in Ohio, and they had a lot of their horses were rescues. And we had one in particular named Bantam, who someone thought it'd be fun to have him in downtown carriage horse, and thought he was easygoing, and he wasn't. He wanted to run and do things, and he was a great horse, but someone thought they had no clue what they were actually doing. Unfortunately, movies and TVs don't always have the best portrayal of certain animals and everything. And like I said, research is the most important thing anybody can do. And also, when you're going to pets, also remember to be honest with yourself. If you want a husky, be ready to have the energy. Huskies run a lot. Mm-hmm. I used to want a husky, but I'm not a runner. I don't like to, I'm okay for walks, but running's not my thing. So that's why I have a lab. A lab's a lot easier for me than a husky, or like a Newfoundland. I love Newfoundlands, but they weigh 100 pounds, and it's just, or like a Great Dane. I'm 4'11". I'm real short. A Great Dane on their four legs are taller than me, and I don't want a dog that's taller than me. So
right, exactly. I know Hollywood and TV and a lot of animals have bad press that are actually old couch potatoes, like pitties. There's a lot of pitties in my family, and they're sweethearts.
Oh, pit bulls are great dogs. I have no problem with pit bulls. They're great dogs. There's a couple of them that come into the vet clinic, and they're the biggest sweethearts. The most dangerous part about a pit bull usually is their tails, because when they're happy, it's like a little whip. And even my dog knows, like, has no issues with pit bulls. She's actually more terrified of small dogs than big dogs. So she's gotten attacked by more little dogs than big dogs. She'll run up to a Great Dane, Great Pyrenees, no issue. She sees a little Chihuahua, she'll slow down and be like, okay, I'll keep my distance. Just don't hurt me.
That's the only one that ever bit me, was a little one. So Fran wants you to know that Simba, the big Great Pyrenees, she loves that he wants to be smaller next time. She says, thank you so much. Makes me happy to know he'll come back to us. Says, the chinchilla that was 3 years ago would be amazing if she lived and somebody took her in. That's what I'm hoping. So Valerie says, my horse Casper, let's see, wind sucks badly. What's wind sucks? I don't know what that is. Badly. Nearly pulling fences down. Is there anything I can do to help him? I've tried alternative solutions. I don't know what that word is. So Valerie, say that again, would you? I'm going to go on.
I think I know that it's when horses, it's a weird thing that horses do, where they hold it and they suck air in. I think that's what she's referring to. Okay. It might be boredom. I mean, horses do a lot of times when they're bored or stressed. You might try to, if they're in their stall, you could try to find like toys. There's toys for horses too, like stuff you can hang from the stalls. And then if you have a horse that's nervous, you can try like Rescue Remedy is great to help as a natural supplement. When I used to work at a horse farm for shows and stuff, we would actually use it for the horses to help them relax during showtime and stuff. I'm just hearing he's bored, and that might help.
He also may have had something that scared him in the past. He's extremely still, and his eyes are extremely focused.
Yeah, horses are very sensitive animals, and out of all the animals, a lot of horses just go from home to home. I mean, they're the one animal that dogs and cats usually will stick with one home their entire lifetime, where horses a lot of times go from place to place. And I'm kind of thinking maybe the reason is more as I come into more of being a pet psychic is that they're here to teach us something. And when that lesson's done, they go on to the next home a lot of times. And I said, I'm so grateful for the horses in my life. My parents were both alcoholics, and I grew up in a very hard childhood because of that. And my mom and I didn't see eye to eye. So having the horses in my lifetime, I worked at a really awesome horse farm to someone who was very open to Reiki. She was actually a Reiki master. I found that out towards the end. And I was very grateful for those horses. And I think this horse here is here to definitely teach you some things. And I agree that there's something that happened in the past. But you could also just, I guess, just do something to keep them entertained. Maybe try to find some different ground things you can do, like lunging or different activities to help him be more stimulated and to build his confidence. Horses get really insecure about things, and the more confidence they have, then that also might help too, especially when horses go from home to home. They do get insecurities and they're afraid of being betrayed or left behind or something. Because I said I've come across a couple rescues, and when I worked with the jousters, there was a lot of horses that were very insecure when they first came, because they're just, you don't know what happened to them. And a lot of times they don't really talk much about it. A lot of rescues, if they've been through a hard time, some people come to me all the time, oh, what happened with this time? Most of the time the animals, they don't want to talk about it. They just say it was bad and just leave it at that. I'd also recommend just don't push it, don't ask, just say, oh, I'm so sorry, and then move on. I know I've been in some bad relationships and I don't want to keep talking about it. It's the same thing with the it's like they're trying to heal those wounds, and if you keep asking them about it, you're just reopening the wounds. They don't have a chance to properly heal. So, but yeah, I would just try to, like, I hear just stall toys, these things to keep him busy. And I don't want, I'm also hearing watch videos for Monty Roberts. He's a horse whisperer guy. He does a lot of natural training and stuff. And also Pat Pirelli has some really great training and fun things you can do with your horse to really help them be entertained. Because horses get bored, especially, they get bored really easily. So yeah, they're very intelligent animals, and that's another animal that people misunderstand, I think, a lot, because they're just such an amazing animal, and people don't realize how they're much more aware of things than people realize. And especially energies, they're very aware. That's where I learned to not get so nervous and be calm, because if you're nervous, they're really gonna feel it. If you see a rider fall off the horse because the horse is about to jump, the horse stops, it's usually the rider's fault, not the horse, because the rider did something to make that horse second guess himself. So.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, I don't know much about horses. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is just about the last question here. Okay, so Tanya has a daughter whose cat has gone missing, named Oscar. Wonders, did Oscar cross over?
I'm hearing no, and he found he went to another family.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Not good for you guys, but thank God.
Yeah. Place. Well, I think it's I think also with like rescues and when animals go to shelters, I think it's kind of probably the same thing as horses. Like, I'm still learning and figuring out this whole process, but it might be that whatever he was there to teach you, it was done. It was time for him to move on to the next family. It's hard for us as humans to understand, because we get very attached, and it's not that your cat didn't love you and appreciate you. He appreciated everything you did, but it was just his time. I think it was just his time to move on. So
okay, move on to the next household.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's interesting because when we bought our house, there was a cat that lived here, and the beautiful young man that sold us the house said, I don't think I can take the cat. Can you guys take the cat? And I felt really bad. I said, oh, I'm so sorry, we can't. The guitar cases, you know how. So when the house next door to us came up available years later, he came back to the neighborhood. And so the lovely neighbor who used to own my house brought the cat back. And now the cat has a friend. Of course, he couldn't get rid of that cat. He thought he could. So that cat's name is Stevie Ray Vaughan, and he comes over to see us all the time. So there we're going to say hi to Grace, our Grace, the Stone Diva.
Hi, Grace.
And then there's Linda Jollo. You don't call, you don't write. Trying to get Linda Jollo on the show. And there is Lloyd Zimmerman. I was just thinking about you. I would love to have you come onto the podcast. I would love to talk to you. Gosh, there's so many of you, Grace too. So this is so fun for me having folks on the podcast. I have just had so much fun with you, Kelly. Can you please say anything you want people to know about where you are and how to find you?
To find me, I do actually have my own Facebook page. After a year, I finally got one up. It's a Kelly, hold on, it's a Kelly, animal pets, Kelly Martin, Animal Reiki. I can't remember. I'll send the link. My brain's
totally right.
It's like all the time. Yeah, it's a Kelly Martin Pet Psychic and Animal Readings. After the end of this, I'll put my link up for my email and my website. You can message me on Facebook. If you're part of the Hands of Light, I'm already part of that, so you can find me there. You can message me. As you see, I don't have to have the animal's presence to talk with them. You can send me a text or email me. Usually I charge about $20 for readings. However, I do make exceptions in case you're hurting financially. I do have a job as a groomer, so luckily I don't have to do readings to make extra income. And for me, I just would rather help. My purpose is to help you with your pets, and that's my biggest thing. Like I said, I do work usually Wednesday through Saturday at VCA Magnolia Animal Hospital. So if you live in the Seattle area and need your dogs groomed, I'd be happy to groom them as well. And also, like I said, if you have any grooming questions, I'm happy to answer that as well. So, but yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
Great. Thanks. Don't forget to go back and read Lizzie's question, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Well, thank you, everybody. Come back tomorrow. We have Katie Indicrow on from Nova Scotia. Really great to spend time with all of you today. And thank you so much. Blessings. Love you, Kelly. And have a good day, everybody.
Have a good day. Bye.